Hello everybody, Ray Pedraza on the McAllen Cable Network, and we're here at the beautiful campus of South Texas College in McAllen, and we've got Dr. Shirley Reed here to talk to us about a bond and maintenance election coming up in November. This is a big deal for the college.
It's a big deal for the college, it's a big deal for all of Hidalgo County and Starr County, and it's an especially big deal for McAllen because of this bond, this $159 million that we're asking voters to approve for construction. About $95 million of it will be constructed in our 3 campuses right here in the city of McAllen.
Very good. A lot of people have questions about how it will impact them and what kind of changes or improvements you're looking to make here at this campus and at your other campuses in Hidalgo County and Starr County.
I know the voters are most concerned about how it's going to impact them. Nobody wants to pay taxes. We understand that. So the board has been physically very conservative. This bond, no frills, basic classrooms, computer labs, technical training facilities, that's it. We're trying to keep that tax rate just as low as we possibly can. The $159 million in construction bonds would cost the voter a half cent. Now, in order to support that much new construction, we would need to levy an additional 3 cents for the maintenance and operation of those facilities so that we can develop new and expanded technical training programs. So we're asking the voters to approve a 3.5 cent increase to our tax rate. And for a $100,000 home, that would be $35 a year. And I share with your viewers that the college has a maximum tax rate. We cannot increase that rate without voter approval. So if the voters would choose to approve this increase, it will remain at that level until it's approved for an increase in any future election. So we're just trying to be extremely mindful of the concern of taxpayers and any tax burden. And we're especially sensitive to senior citizens and the disabled, because any taxpayer over the age of 65, their taxes are frozen on their homestead, and so they would not have a tax increase.
All right. What would you say to someone out there who says, you know what, I don't have a student in college, so why should I pay more taxes? What would you say to them? How does it impact them and the entire community, or passage of this bond? How would you say it would benefit them?
You know, I'm asked that question frequently, and particularly by senior citizens. They'll say, I've raised my kids, they're gone, why should I pay taxes? And I have to just stop a moment and remind them, hopefully you won't need an EMT. Hopefully you won't need a nurse. Hopefully your car doesn't break down. Hopefully your air conditioning doesn't break down. Hopefully your computer doesn't break down. We're the ones that do that workforce training. And what about your grandkids? They're going to be going to college. South Texas College is a fabulous place to spend your first 2 years and then transfer to any university you wish. So there's an awful lot of benefit, even though you don't have kids in school.
And you've had a student population explosion here at STC, really, because I think I read somewhere you're up to 31,000 students?
We are. We absolutely are. And we expect that we're going to get to 42,000 students by 2020. Now, when we passed our last bond in 2001, we had about 12,000 students. Today, we have almost 31,000. We do believe this bond will take us for another decade. It'll provide adequate funding and facilities to accommodate 42,000 students.
Let's talk about the need for new buildings and things you need to build here on campus. I understand you're somewhere at like 50 portable buildings in McAllen?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we are. We have portables on the Pecan campus that I remember buying in 1995, and they were 20 years old then, and we're still using them. So if you can imagine, that's 100 classrooms.
Wow.
And even at our nursing allied health campus, we have portable buildings there, and we have portable buildings at our technology campus. It's the only way we've been able to accommodate the expanded growth enrollment.
What happens if this bond doesn't pass? What happens?
Well, I fear that it's going to lead to us having to constrain enrollment because we simply have no place to put the students. We're not going to be able to respond to the demands of business and industry. And I'm especially concerned that we will not be able to meet the need for nurses and healthcare providers in our community. I think there are a lot of serious consequences if we cannot continue to accommodate students and to respond to the workforce needs in our community.
And I think that's so important because we're seeing a lot of other positive economic things happening here in the Valley and in our region, especially with the interstate designation, 83 becoming I-2 and 281 becoming, of course, I-69C. I think that puts more emphasis on manufacturing and companies locating here. And your role is basically to educate our workforce, our future workforce, right?
That's really the reason the college was established. It was conceived as an economic development strategy. How else do you get out of poverty? You have to get out of poverty through a job. You don't get a job without proper workforce training. Companies don't come to our area if we don't have an adequate supply of competent, well-trained workers. So it's putting people to work in high-wage, high-skilled jobs. That's what's driving our economy. That's why we were created, and that's why workforce development is such an important part of our mission.
Wow, very good. Have you ever put a dollar amount on the impact that STC has on maybe not McAllen, but of maybe Hidalgo and Starr County as far as the money that this college generates in terms of jobs? And
we did an economic impact study, and it's available to the public if they wish to review it. But if you take the payroll that is spent in our community from South Texas College, the money students spend in the economy, the construction we have done, the goods and services we are buying, it's about $98 million. And that $98 million turns over at least 2 times, maybe 3 times in our community. So our economic impact is $204 million a year.
wow.
That's rather significant.
Okay, and these improvements, as we mentioned earlier, they're going to be in not just McAllen, they're going to be also in Weslaco and Starr County. Can you talk about maybe specifically what's going to happen at each campus?
I can go through the list for you. In McAllen, at the Pecan campus, we're looking at constructing 3 new classroom buildings.
Okay.
One would be devoted to what's called STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and a facility to accommodate student services. We simply don't have a facility. Then at the nursing and allied health campus, we want to construct a pretty significant campus expansion. The city of McAllen has very generously made land available to us at McCall and Ridge. We want to do the expansion there. And then at our technology campus, we acquired a former manufacturing plant. It's about a 90,000 square foot facility, and we want to renovate that facility so that we can continue with our work with advanced manufacturing. We have a website. Your viewers can see every project. We have schematic designs of what the facilities will look like. You can see the cost of all the facilities. We've spent extensive time planning this. We have a master plan to 2020. We've just been waiting until we felt the economy was right, the community would be ready to support us, and so we're ready to go before the voters.
Very good. Now, when the voters do go to the polls, they're going to see this as 2 propositions. Can you talk about how it's going to appear on the ballot? They're going to vote for or against 2 items, right?
Right. And the 2 items will be, are you for or against the issuance of $159 million in bonds? And then the second item will be, do you approve increasing the tax rate by 3 cents? Are you for or against?
All right, very good. Now, this election is going to be on November the 5th, but they can start voting early in October, I understand.
Yes, early voting actually starts October 21st, and it runs to November 1st. And during early voting, registered voters can vote at any polling place in their county, but on election day, they will have to vote in their particular precinct.
Very good. And I see that you're calling this a catalyst for economic development and regional prosperity.
Yes, and we do believe that it's through getting a good paying job that you really move into the middle class and you contribute to the economy, and it just boosts the prosperity of the entire region. And that's our mission. That's what we were created to do, and we think we do a pretty good job of it.
Well, you've been doing it for 20 years. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Oh, yes, yes.
All right. Anything else we should tell our viewers before we go?
Well, let's summarize. We've covered a lot of ground. I think the points that I'd like to reinforce with your viewers is that we are being fiscally conservative. People who don't like taxes think a half cent is a whole lot of taxes. But for $35, that's the equivalent of maybe 2 tickets at the movie and a Coke and a box of popcorn. So maybe $35 is a very wise investment in the future of South Texas College and the economic impact we have on this region. And I'd like to leave the voters with a plea to vote. We respect the opinion of the voter. Okay, if you say you don't want this, that's respected. But shame on us if you don't vote.
Because traditionally our voter turnout is low, and we hope people get out there and cast their ballots.
Well, I have been told that voter turnout for constitutional amendments is in the range of 2%.
Wow.
So it is critical that people vote, and there'll be a lot of important constitutional amendments, a lot of important local issues, and we just say exercise your responsibility to vote.
Very good. And again, we want to stress to people that they can go to your website and they can view all elements of this election.
Exactly.
You've got it very well laid out there with pictures and numbers and the whole plan for not just McAllen but for the neighboring communities.
And we have a section on the website that your viewers might be interested in. It's frequently asked questions.
Okay.
And I've kept a list of all the mean, really hard questions I have been asked. And I've answered all those questions. So I invite your viewers to go scrutinize that.
Very good. And I also wanted to point out, too, that you had a survey done recently. And it came back very favorable on South Texas College, right?
It did, and it very much confirmed what we already thought. We hired UT Pan Am to do a survey of registered voters to get a sense of perceptions of the college. And overall, the perceptions were about 70% were very favorable. The part that surprised us is I think it was about 35% of the respondents felt that there was adequate workforce training. We thought we were doing a great job and doing a lot of it, but this poll is telling us that so much more has to be done. Families want better training for their kids. Employers want better training. So we want to make improving and expanding workforce training a key part of this bond election.
So again, we remind voters, early voting begins October the 21st through November 1st, and then again the election is on November the 5th. And again, we urge people to go out and vote for this bond and maintenance election for South Texas College. Thanks for having us over today.
It's been a pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to share more about what we're trying to do.
Very good. And again, if you have questions, make sure you visit the website. Dr. Shirley Reed, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And of course, always thank you for watching. I'm Ray Pedraza, and this is the McAllen Cable Network.